This is where we talk about how we grow both a powerful brand and business and life as well, because everything's connected. Welcome to Brand and Biz Spills. I'm Debbie White. I've spent 30 years in the creative advertising industry, working with Fortune 500 brands while also being a serial entrepreneur, building several multiple 6 and 7 figure businesses along the way. I'm talking with other powerful women to share insider secrets and insights about building your brand and business. And I don't have time for BS and fluff. You don't either. So let's get to building a powerful brand and business with some real frank talk. Follow me on Instagram at FranklyDeb so we can connect further. Hi, everyone. I have a special guest for you guys today. I am here with Chris Williams. Chris Williams is a certified soulful business coach and business acceleration mentor for women. Hey, Chris, thanks for being here.
I'm so glad to be here. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah, me too. I have so many questions and so many things we could sit and talk about. Chris and I are good friends as well. And you have a lot of interesting background that I think everyone would really love to hear. And I know I always love to hear from you. I'm going to start by saying, okay, here's the deal. Chris, you run a very successful coaching business for women, wellness coaches and practitioners. Okay. And I'm cool with throwing out numbers, whatever, because I want to give people context, and we can do that if you want or not, or do. But it wasn't always this way.
It was not. No.
Okay. Can you tell us? I mean, because when I've heard the story, and y'all, it's one of these stories. It's like she had nothing. Now she's a freaking rock star. So, I mean, really, like it, and it just shows what's possible. So, can you tell us how this all started?
Oh gosh, yeah. There's like so many different places I could start.
I mean, you weren't always a coach. So, I mean, like, and then, and I know that at one point you couldn't even pay your bills.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I couldn't even get home from Florida. I was stranded at the gas station with my 3 boys. I was in the middle of a divorce, going through a divorce. So, I had been a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling my 3 boys, 17 years, no job. I basically quit my job to stay home and take care of my kids, which I'm absolutely grateful that I was able to do that. And it was amazing and such a fabulous experience. But yeah, I went down to visit my mom and I underestimated how much it was going to cost me in gas to get there and back. And when we were trying to get home, I overspent and had $25 in my account, and that was not even enough for me to get home. So I was like, this is never going to happen to me again. I will never be in this position again. I will figure out a way to make sure that I am not ever at the position where I can't get home and can't take care of my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can say that's a vulnerable place to be in. I'd say that's a shitty place to be in. And I have had something kind of similar to that. I didn't it wasn't that I couldn't get home. It was that, I was at the time just on the down and outs about, this was after 2009. And I discovered that my husband sold our car to pay for the rent, and he sold it for the cost of the rent.
Oh my God.
Really? So in a way, I mean, we still had a car, so I could get somewhere. And I think I had enough, but I get you. Like, it's that feeling of like, oh my God, the floor is actually being pulled out from underneath me right now.
Yeah.
And I don't have control. And I might can I really take care of my family? It's really scary to be in that position.
Yeah, it really was scary, because I was like, I mean, luckily I, called my mom and she was able to wire me money immediately into my account so that I could get home.
Wow.
But yeah, I honestly had to figure out what it is that I wanted to do, how I was going to take care of my kids. And, I could have taken the path of, I guess, least resistance, going back into the corporate world from which I came. Before I got married, before I had kids, I was an account executive, and that's actually what brought me down to North Carolina. But yeah, I really decided that I wanted to do what it was that I loved, which was health and wellness. And I decided I wanted to go to massage school. I wanted to pick a career that was allowing me to be what I felt I wanted to do as a healer and go back and give back, but also be able to open my own business so that I could make my own hours and be home for my kids.
Yeah.
Be home for my
Yeah. All that flexibility. I get it. Yeah. So how many years ago was this no gas money episode?
yeah. No
When
gas
was
money
that?
in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 10
Wow.
years ago.
So
10.
10, flash forward 10 years,
Mhm.
you have enough gas money.
I've got more gas money than I need. Yeah. We
Yeah.
just crossed the $1 million mark in November.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. That's so congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yes.
So,
Yeah. To go from no money to I've, sent 2 kids through school, through college without
yep.
having to take out a loan.
Yep.
Basically, I've been able to just provide for them and go on vacations. And, we were talking about my recent vacation in Iceland, where we got to spend Christmas in Iceland with my boys, and they got to be on a glacier and have these, experiences. For me is really kind of what lights me up. I'm not, there's nothing wrong with going and buying shoes, but that's just not my thing. My thing is experiences. And I love to take my kids and my husband, my now husband.
Your now husband.
my now husband.
Your now husband is awesome. Yes. No, not saying anyone's not, but yes, he's awesome. I love that. I love that. I'm the same. Like if I'm going to spend money on shoes, it's probably at Birkenstocks.
Yeah, something comfortable.
Like, I mean, I feel like that's luxurious for me. I'm totally with you on the experiences, and just having the ability to have choices and that sense of freedom is everything. Okay. This leads me to my next question. I think we heard it, but I want you to articulate it for all of us, because I love asking people this, like, why do you do what you do? Why? What's it all really about? Because it's about having that freedom and purpose, but what's the drive? Why women? Why this specific direction of, of wellness and women, and kind of give it. I mean, I'm asking your why right here, right?
Yeah,
the purpose.
You know my why, but I'm happy to share this.
Yeah.
Piece too. My why for women specifically, I think is very, and what's the word I want to use? Entrenched isn't the right word. I have been standing on the shoulders of incredible women, ancestors that have done some pretty powerful and amazing things, gotten out of toxic relationships. And it is because of the belief systems that they've been able to instill in me that I have felt so passionate about making sure that other women can have the freedom and the sovereignty, not only personally, but financially. Like those things go in hand. And, one of the things that I saw, my family go through, my mom went through a divorce, my grandmother went through a divorce, my grandmother on my dad's side was actually given to a man when she was 15 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. She was had immigrated over here from Poland with her parents, and they did not have enough money to feed all of the children. And so when she was 15, they basically gave her to somebody else. And I can't even imagine at 15 years old being given to somebody, much less she ended up coming back. She ended up leaving this person and coming back with 2 children later. And, that's in the 30s, right? Like when you have no independence, none. Not only do you have no personal freedom, but you don't have financial independence at all, right?
No.
And that's one of the things that I saw between my grandmothers and my mom was this lack of financial independence. While they had this incredible bravery and courage to get out of relationships that were not helpful or conducive to who they were as human beings in the world.
Right.
But they were lacking this this financial independence for allowing them to create true freedom. I mean, my grandmother, she ended up working her entire life as an executive secretary, and yet she was one of my supporters that was always encouraging me, taking me on equal rights amendment marches,
Wow.
for women. I was brought up in the community of women that, she was always telling me, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. I remember coming home when I was in 7th grade or 8th grade, and I was like, oh, I made cheerleading. She's like, what? The boys should be cheering for you. What do you mean you're a cheerleader?
Oh, wow. That's amazing for your grandmother to be doing that. I mean, that's a different era of that's amazing.
Completely. I mean, and you and I know that it really wasn't until 1974 that women could even get a credit card without having to have a co-signer.
Can you believe that?
That's amazing.
I only found out about that like 10 years ago. Like, I don't even think I knew that. Like, I had no idea. I was like a kid. Like, I don't know, I cannot believe that.
So the fact that they were able to do this, without, and made those choices, those courageous choices, right? So, when I went through my, relationship and needed to go through a divorce, I felt like I had seen them make those hard decisions, and when my mom did that, we were in poverty too. Like, we were literally on food stamps. I remember one time we stopped at this gas station for gas. I don't know what it is with gas stations.
God, you guys get some gas cans already
at our gas station.
God.
But they gave us a turkey, and they told my mom that she won the turkey, and she was like, oh yeah, I never entered anything to win a turkey. But they knew, we were customers there, that we really needed some help. And
wow.
So I'm just really wanting, my passion, my why is to help women not only feel empowered within themselves and their personal power, but also to be creating financial wealth so that they've got more choice.
Yes. I love that. Yes. Okay. So here's one. What do you think has been the biggest game changer for your business?
Wow. Gosh.
I know there's so many things. I mean, if you had to, people that are listening to this, the women, sitting in their car, wherever you are listening to this with their headphones or not, they have a business, they see you like, God, I want that. What's the biggest piece of advice that you would give them? If there was one thing you want every woman to know.
I would say, and this is what I did too, is I saw other people that had what it is that I wanted, and I learned from them, and I watched them, and I got information, and success leaves clues.
Oh, that's good.
Success leaves clues. There are successful women out there that are doing it, and I got in their world.
Yeah. And how did you do that? How did you get in their world?
Yeah. So, to start off, before I could even afford, to hire somebody to help me, it was simply, following them on Facebook, watching them, listening to them, learning, kind of hearing, following people that I resonated with. It wasn't just like, oh, go do this thing. It was, I saw how this person was showing up in the world, what she was saying, like, not to get woo, but, the vibe, for me was, I like what it is she's saying. I like the word she's using. I like the way she's doing it. And I want that too. And so, that definitely was something that helped me. But I think even more than that was the belief that it was possible. And that's really where I give so much gratitude and thanks for the women that came before me, because I had the belief that I could do it, even if I didn't know how. And that's key. You have to take the step, even if you don't know how.
This is such a good point. I too had parents that told me I could do anything that I believed in. And that's been a game changer. I, as you do, coach a lot of women. I know there are women that don't have that in their fabric of family, of growing up. What do we tell? I mean, what do we tell people if they don't even believe they can?
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the work right there. If you start from, I don't believe that I can, then that is exactly what you will create. You have to find a way. You've got to find support. You've got to find a way to shift that belief into, I'm not sure what this is going to look like, but I believe that it's possible.
Yes.
So surround yourself with other women that believe that it's possible. And that really, I remember,
You're bringing up a really juicy point. I'm just going to throw away all my other questions. This is gold.
oh,
Yeah,
we're going
let's dig in on
like
this.
that.
This is really good. Yeah.
I remember one of my friends, this is when I started my massage therapy practice, and she's like, how did you even just start it, Chris? And I said, I just made the decision that this was what I wanted to do, and I just took the baby steps. So, I went, I'm like, all right, I got my certification. Great. Now what do I do? Well, I want to open up my own place. I don't have enough money to open up a building, so I could rent a room. I could rent space. Okay, who can I ask about renting space? So I reached out to my teachers. I reached out to other massage therapists, and they lined me up with space. Okay, great. Now, how do I get a client? So I would ask people, and I believed that it was possible.
Yeah.
And I just took those next steps. And, honestly, if I had waited to figure out from A to Z exactly what to do until I took the action, I probably never would have taken the action.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I know this about you. This is what I call a fast action taker. You are very fast. We always tease you. We'll have someone will say some golden nugget at a meeting, and I've got the email with the golden nugget in it. By the time I get back to my room or pick up my phone, I'm like, damn, Chris has already put one out with this golden nugget. But we're covering some really important things for anyone wanting to grow a thriving business. This is so gold. One point that you talked about is, and we all hear this, but it's so important, is pay attention to who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Who is influencing you?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, this sucks, but sometimes it's your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I've had to, things have shifted,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And then the biggest thing is that belief system is you just start with baby steps, and you do it, and you figure it out along the way.
Yes.
You don't wait to have it all perfect and figured it out, before you take the first step. It's like, you just step into it, you step on the hot coals, you go, and then you figure it out along the way. Every single successful person I know says this.
Amen. It's
right?
exactly the way that it happens. And here's the thing, there's another saying that I have that has been true for me when I look back. And that is the how. You have to commit first. The how opens up in the commitment.
Yeah.
The how opens up. That means that you have to commit. You have to say yes. You have to commit to what it is that you decide in order for the how to even come in. The how is not, like, all of the hows are not going to come in and tell you exactly what you do if you're not committed to creating. And in order to be committed, you have to have the belief that it's possible.
Absolutely. 100%.
We think it's the other way around. We think that we have to figure out all of the things first, and then we can confidently take the action. And that just is not the way that it happens.
And I think it's yeah, how do we get this out? I think this is like a huge thing, because I'm seeing it over and over again. It's like, if I learn all the steps, then I will. And then it's like, it doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't. And, you asked me kind of, what were some of the biggest game changers? And I have to say that on the level of belief, in addition to that, it was when I hired my first coach, and she was a stand for what was possible for me.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know how. And what do I mean by that? Well, I hired her without knowing how I was going to pay her. I literally had $100 leeway in my checking account when I hired her, and I joined a $10,000 program. And at that time, I was like, that's more than your mortgage. Like, what are you going to do with this? Right. Yeah. And I was like, I know I need help. I know I love this person. And how do I do it? And I remember going back to her two times. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And she was always a stand for what was possible for me. And she said, Chris, let's just take a look at what you can do. Like, let's just talk about how are we going to come up with just the first month's payment? I'm like, okay. Deep breath. And I'm like, I can do this. I can figure this out. I brainstormed with her. I ended up getting together a small group program that was serving just, 5 women. Yeah. I think it was $200. Mm-hmm. There we go. $1,000. My bank account said no. The circumstance said no, but because she was a stand for what was possible for me, I stepped into, okay, but how could this work out? Maybe I could do this, maybe I could. And I'm like, well, maybe I can just get 5 people together and there we go. And I have to say that was gold. Like that
was everything right there. Yeah.
Allows me to see that I am not a victim to circumstance, period.
No, that you can control. And then isn't it amazing how once you get that breakthrough and you start actually doing that, you took that advice, you did it, it worked. And like, you're like, wait a minute. And I know you talk about this all the time. That was when you started creating abundance. Like you literally can create it. Like you can, like I've said this myself, like I know how to create money.
Yeah.
And it's like, that sounds weird, but it's you learn. You don't create it from something just sitting there on the shelf and like, let me double that. You literally go out and you come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And then you step into it. I know that sounds a little abstract to a lot of people, but that really is part of being an entrepreneur.
It is, because what you do is you start looking to the solution. You start asking yourself, how can I, versus telling yourself, I can't. I can't because my bank account says no. I can't because my partner won't support me. I can't because so-and-so is going to think I'm wacky, whatever it is. There's so many times, we're focused on the I can't, which is scarcity, instead of, but how could I? Like, if I really wanted to do this, how could I? What are some choices that I could do? And I've got a really funny story for you about it. And it has nothing to do with gas stations.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I got locked out, latchkey kid, right? Locked out. I knew my mom wasn't going to be home for hours. None of my neighbors had a key. And I was like, how the hell am I going to get in my house? So, I'm like, all right, I can sit here and just wait for hours on the stoop until my mom gets home, or I can try to figure it out. And that's really, I'm like, all right, check the windows. Nope, windows are locked. Okay, check the sliding glass doors. Is there a way that I can jimmy the sliding glass door open, right? Yeah. Nope, that doesn't work. I actually shimmied up, like crawled up to the patio on the second floor to see if that's where it was open.
Fast Action Chris is on the second floor.
I'm like,
does not surprise me.
I couldn't figure it out and I couldn't get in. I'm like, okay, all right, there's got to be a way. And I looked down and I saw the dog door. And I grabbed the dog door and I got in the house.
Okay, see, this is interesting to me. This would be like one of those interesting psychological studies. If you gave everyone, you are locked out of your house, what do you do? And just to see what people would do. I actually got locked. I got locked inside my house.
Oh no, you didn't.
When my parents would go away for the weekend and go sailing, I was in high school. And I think it was my senior year. And I got locked inside my bathroom. It was like a Jack and Jill. And I got locked in where the shower is in the middle of our house. And I had a brand new friend. Like I had just made this new friend and we were going to go out for dinner and meet some girlfriends out, on a Friday night. And I knew she was going to be, I didn't know exactly what time it was, but I was kind of freaking out. I'd been in this locked shower room for about an hour at this point, naked. And it's like, I gotta get out of here. I can't spend the whole weekend naked in this tent. I'm going to die. I'm not going to die. There's like water. I was like thinking and planning, but like, this was, there's no windows, nothing. Yeah. And so I knew she'd be coming over. And so I just started screaming like a banshee, like crazy, screaming. And I heard her. And then I was like communicating through like 2 doors, like, what? She shimmied up a tiny window above the kitchen sink and somehow got in my house.
Wow.
And locked it. And there I am naked. But it's like, I will find a way. I don't know. I was going to find a way, but it's that interesting drive. And I think we all have that. I really think humans just have that drive. It's a drive of survival.
Yeah.
But you can't, an entrepreneur, I think, has to have the drive and they have to be a fast action taker. Like there's certain traits and you can't give up.
Nope. It's the resilience and endurance, right? It's that resilience that even if something doesn't go the way that you think it should go, you have a belief that it's working out for you and you just continue to try something else, right? I mean, That's what we do as entrepreneurs. It's all a huge experiment, right? We talk about that even in our mastermind of
all a big, huge experiment.
How
does that make people feel on the other side? It's true though.
Well, it works, right? The more decisions, like about the decisions, right? The more decisions we make, the more they're going to come through, right? If we make 10 decisions and only 5 work, or we make 100 decisions and 50 work.
Make more decisions. Make more decisions. The more decisions you make, the more successful you will be.
Yep.
It's the indecisiveness that's a killer in this, having your own business, right? You just got to,
Yep.
Yeah, you got to move it, do it, move on. Go on to the next one, onto the next one. And there will be mistakes and you will fall flat on your face. Absolutely. And not everything is a success, even now, right? Even now. Have you had some failures in the last year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
People are like, what?
No.
Chris, $1 million, Chris, whatever, $1 million Chris has had a failure. Yes.
And the thing with failure though, and this because we work with an amazing mindset coach, but there's always something golden that comes out of something that doesn't work the way that you think it should.
Yeah.
Last October, we didn't fill the program that we had offered. And it was a really hard thing because, of course, our brain is going to go in multiple directions. My business is broken. What's going on? How do I fix this? And honestly, what came out of that was I needed that time to reassess and decide what was truly in alignment with me. How do I want to go forward? And it allowed me to make some pivotal business decisions that, where I increased pricing and I, shifted some things in my program. And the next time we filled it.
Wow.
But had that not happened, I would not have been looking at the things that needed to shift. So seeing it as feedback instead of failure, I think is
I love that. I just want to say that again, because a lot of people would have taken like, I bombed a launch. I bombed a new, whatever you're offering out there, your new, collection launch, whatever. Okay. I'm going to roll this thing up and screw it. Yeah. You're like, no, that was interesting. I'm going to learn from it. And you even notched it up another couple notches. I'm like, okay. Right? Like it's interesting information. And I think that too, all of these things, you're literally listening to the traits of someone that's very successful. And these traits we hear over and over again. And it's interesting just to hear how these different minds work and how we all process things. I think it's fascinating as business women and really encouraging other, women out there to listen to this and say, we don't get this stuff right out the gate. It takes time. And then one last question for you. Is it easy being an entrepreneur? Truth.
Hell no, it's not easy.
But it's not.
And I wouldn't choose something else. I love
What's wrong with us?
Is it easy? No, but it allows me to choose things that are in alignment with what brings me joy. So, look, easy doesn't always, is anything easy that's really valuable? It also is not always hard either. So let me just say that.
Right. No, yes, it's not always hard. It's not always hard. Yeah.
It's not always hard. I mean, it doesn't have to always be hard either. There are pieces of it that are absolutely joyful and easy. And there are pieces of it that I have to learn and evolve and grow through. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to do that. Yes. But it is always and has always been worth it for me to have, the freedom to do what it is that I want to do now and to have the impact in the world that I want to have to show other women that this is possible for them too.
You got it. That's everything for me. It makes everything worth it. And you just nailed, me too. Is it hard? Yes. All of that. I'm like, yes to everything you just said. Chris, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this just flew by so fast. Where can people find you? How can we find out what's happening with Chris Williams?
Oh, awesome. Yes. Please come find me. I'm on Facebook. I really hang out the majority of the time on Facebook.
Facebook's your place.
have an amazing community. It's called the Abundant and Empowered Feminine Leaders. And that is a group that people are more than welcome to join. And you could also find me on my website. It's shineabundancenow.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I love chatting with
you. Okay. I will see you soon. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Brand and Biz Bills with your host, Debbie White. Visit franklydeb.com where you can connect with us and join our free Facebook community where all the brand action happens. And I love hanging out on Instagram, so follow me there at franklydeb. And join us next time for another episode of Brand and Biz Bills. Let's get real on women growing powerful brands.